And on the line, we have former boxing heavyweight champion, WBO, IBC champion, Tommy the Duke Morrison. Tommy, thank you for joining us tonight.
You're welcome, man. I always enjoy, getting on people's radio shows and talking about things that mean something to people, you know.
Well, something you've been talking a lot about is something that ended your boxing career, which we'll go into later, is back in 1996, you were diagnosed with HIV.
That's correct. You know, I mean, there was a lot of squirrely things going on back then, and it sounded to me, after all these years and reflecting on it, that something happened.
Well, let's get that into that a little bit. Let's get into that a little bit, because we have so many people have submitted questions all week long, so many things they want to hear about your boxing career before we even go into that.
Now, Tommy, I got a quick question for you. You got the nickname the Duke. I'm saying is that because I saw a rumor that you may be related some way to John Wayne?
Yeah, John Wayne is my great uncle. I'm his great grandnephew.
Did you ever have a chance to meet him?
No, I never got a chance to meet him, but my parents and grandparents did. I was, I think 6 or 7, when he died, so.
All right, well,
part of our clan went to, go ahead.
One thing we found out about you is that you were in a lot of tough man competitions, and I knew that about your career, but I didn't know that you were only 13 years old going in there with a fake ID.
Yeah, that's, I started, I had to quit school after the 8th grade. My mother and father were, pretty much in each other, in and out of each other's life for years, but I guess he finally decided to leave. And when he did, it created a money situation at home. We had to eat, basically. So I quit school after the 8th grade and moved out to Woodward, Oklahoma, which is out in the western panhandle. Worked on an oil rig for a couple of weeks and got a job on a construction site. And I was out of school for about a year. And during that time I was out, my mother went she was a nurse for years, but her license had expired, and she'd gotten her license back, which allowed me, the opportunity to come back to school. Of course, I was a year behind all my friends, and all that sort of thing. But I've never been, the type of individual that would let something like that bother me or hold me back. So, and it actually kind of helped me in sports. Give me another year to mature and get bigger, faster, and stronger.
Well, I'm assuming when you're doing these tough man competitions, I'm assuming you're fighting guys that are 2, 3 times your age at that point with a lot of experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the key right there. Is that they don't have any experience. I already had like 6 or 7 years experience of amateur boxing. And a lot of these guys are on drugs when they crawl through and they go out there and they shoot their wad. They'll come at you hard for 30 seconds and, then they can't hold their hands up. And it's time to go to work, Yeah. So I fought in 22 of them altogether. I won them all except one. I ended up running into, to another ex-ringer from Muskogee, Oklahoma, which I knew is a decorated amateur. His name was Mark Breedlove. And he was obviously, bigger, faster, stronger, more mature. So he kind of pushed me around a little bit, but I ended up losing the split decision to him, and that was the only one I ever lost. I actually even fought my older brother a couple of times.
In the tough man competitions?
Yeah, in the finals of a tough man, 2 of them, we fought each other. Yeah.
Wow. Was that difficult to do, though? Were you close with your brother growing up, or was that...
Well, yeah, but, business is business. I mean, He thinks, I think he's always carried that around with him. I think it bugs him. His 13-year-old brother beat him. Was 15 once and 13 this, the time before that. So I can see as a 19, 20-year-old big brother that might be a little bit of a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
But, what are you going to do?
Yep.
I was in it to win it, brother.
Well, you talked about amateur career. You had a crazy amateur career. Is this true? The amateur record is 343 wins?
No. I was 222 and 20.
Jesus.
I had about, I think I had like 19 Golden Glove titles. And, back then, things were different. It was called, if you're familiar with the AAU.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's USA, ABF, and, it's all pretty much like boxing at the professional level. Everything's politics, and, nothing's fun anymore.
Yeah.
You always got all these, these assholes that think they're running shit, and all they do pretty much is muddy the water.
Well, not long after you came into professional boxing, you landed the role of Tommy Gunn in Rocky V. How did you land the role, and what was it like working with Sly?
Well, it was awesome working with him. In '89, I had a number of fights on ESPN. Every 2 weeks I was fighting. And, they'd been looking for somebody, and they had auditioned like over 650 people for that part. And his brother, I don't know if you're familiar with Frank, one hell of a musician. Anyway, he was heading home watching ESPN, and I happened to fight that night and knocked the guy out, probably in pretty spectacular fashion, I'm sure. And, he called his brother and says, I think I found your guy. He saw me in an after-fight interview, saw that I could, talk in complete sentences, which not many of them can. And it went from there. I had another fight 2 weeks later in Jacksonville, Florida. And before the fight, my manager, who at the time was Bill Caton, called me down in the lounge the night before the fight. And he showed me a letter was written to, it was written to me, but they sent it to him from a guy named John Avildsen, who was the director of the original first Rocky movie.
Okay.
Wanted me to come out for what they call a reading. And they wanted me to come out, the next night was a fight, and come out, the morning after that. So that's where I went. I flew out there and met the director, met one of the producers, and worked with a stunt man for, about 20, 30 minutes, to give and take punches and, that sort of thing, so that, fight scenes would look realistic. So I went through that, and they sent me back home. They sent an acting coach home with me, and I worked with him every day for 2 weeks. And then I had another fight, I think in Phoenix, and went out there and fought. And the next day went out for what they call a screen test. With the lights, camera, Stallone, makeup, all that garbage. Mm-hmm. So I, we went to I don't know if you remember the scene out of the L train. Where I come to him and said, "Man,
Yep.
you're all I've got."
Mhm.
You remember that scene?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I know the
Yes.
movie by heart.
Yeah.
One of our
Well,
favorites.
that's the one. That's the one we did. That took me back home, and I guess about 2 weeks later, I came in from the gym. And back then, I had like 19 fights in 1989. Every 2 weeks, I was fighting on ESPN. Yeah, I stayed busy because as we were talking a while ago, I came from the tough man circuit. I didn't have, the advantage of fighting international competitions like the Bubs and the Lewises and Mercers. So I was playing catch up to these guys pretty much. Yeah, I went home and I come home from the gym, and my message was blinking, and hit the message, and it was still on. Said, we've auditioned over 650 people for this part, and we just couldn't find the right guy, but we believe, the producer and director and him were all in agreement that thought I was the man for the job. And so that's how it all got started. Pretty amazing, really.
How much did you make on that movie?
How much money?
Yep.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, how much did you make for that film? Was it a flat fee? Did you get royalties? How did that work?
Well, it was a 3-movie contract. Not much, $100,000.
Okay.
But they also gave me $2,500 a week, what they call per diem.
Mhm.
And so I would say about $150,000 is probably what I made for. Of course, it went way over budget, and something that was supposed to take 3 months ended up taking 6.
Mhm.
Because in the middle of the film, we had to shut down because there was, some discrepancies and some disagreements, and so we took a month off and then came back for another 3 months, finished it up.
Now, Tommy, was it also true that during the time of filming that you actually broke a stuntman's jaw in his orbital socket? Or is there any truth to that?
Yeah, there was, you got to keep in mind that these guys, even though they're stuntmen, they're, used to rolling around and falling, but they're not used to getting hit in the face. That's a big difference. I mean,
right.
your body, regardless of what you're doing, you have to get conditioned for it. I know these guys wake up every day and get punched in the face. So they're obviously, their faces or orbit bones. I ended up crushing this guy's orbit bone. Didn't do it on purpose.
Oh.
Another guy broke his jaw. But they were only like
Bunch of pussies.
Yeah, but they're only about 40-50% of our power.
Yeah.
But again, these guys, they've never been hit before.
I was gonna say I don't think there's an adequate way to train your orbital socket not to get broken though.
Especially with a Tommy Morrison punch in his prime.
At 50%.
10%.
The only way to get used to taking a punch is taking a punch. You know what I mean? I get in there and being as active and as busy as I was in, I was sparring all the time, If you don't spar, sparring and running, there is no substitute for those two things. I don't care what anybody tells you. There's no substitute for sparring and running. A lot of people try to cut corners.
Yep.
A lot of the black athletes, they have, a lot more what they call fast twitch muscle fiber than we do.
Mhm.
and they have superior athletic ability. But what they all have is a weak kicker. They have our problem. You know what I mean?
So you're saying black boxers have a weak ticker?
They don't have any heart, dude. That's what I'm saying. Wow. You know, and if you ever hurt one, you own him.
Jesus.
And I've hurt quite a few fellas.
Well, speaking of hurting a couple fellas, 28-0 record before you fought Ray Mercer. You beat George Foreman for the WBO championship. You fought Lennox Lewis. How close were you to a fight with Mike Tyson? That was the one I always wanted to see when I was younger. The Great White Hope against Mike Tyson.
You know what? I had just signed a $38.5 million contract. It's a 3-fight contract with Don King. As a matter of fact, the very first of those 3 fights was the one when I was supposed to fight Stormy Weathers in Vegas, when they sent me to take a test, and what started all this fraud that kicked me out of the sport.
Now, what you're referring to is in '96 when your boxing career got cut short due to a blood test coming back HIV positive from the Nevada State Athletic Commission.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Did you know
how did they
well, we'll
inform
get
you
into that
though?
later.
Yeah, how did they inform you that? How did they inform you that?
Well,
you tested
this is the weird part. You know, when someone flunks a test, they give you, there's 3 different tests on the market that they've been using for, 30 years. One's the ELISA, one's a PCR, and the other one's a Western blot. Well, I took a Western blot and failed it. Well, protocol is for them to give you a confirmatory test. The ELISA has a confirmatory test. They never offered me anything. I tested it, and I never saw anything that said I'd flunked it. I'm in my hotel room. What happened? I went and got something to eat, like I normally do.
Mm-hmm.
And I went for a little stroll out on the strip. Woke up my meal, which is what I did every time. Came back to my room. My message light was blinking. So I picked it up, and it was my promoter up in his suite. And he said, "You need to come up here. We're gonna make sure everybody has everything. We have a little meeting, and we'll head over." I said, "Okay, I'll see you in 5." So I went up there and knocked on the door. I can't remember. I think my trainer opened it, and immediately, the looks on everybody's face was just fucked up. I'm sorry.
No, you can
say whatever you want, man. It's all good.
Okay. And I knew immediately that something was wrong. I figured my opponent pulled out. Could have been a number of different things. And Tony Holden, who was my promoter, said, "Tommy, I don't know any other way to tell you this than just come out and tell you." He said, you flunked your medical exam. They said you tested positive for HIV. He said, "Now the media's swarming all over the hotel. We got to get you out of here." I'm like, my head's swirling. Anyhow, they took me down to some elevator shaft out the back door, and took me to the airport. My trainer was with me. He lived in Atlanta at the time, but when we hit Atlanta, he went on. And I had to hit a couple more cities before I got, back to Tulsa. Tulsa is an international airport, and I think I ended up landing around 2:30 or 3. And I'm walking through the airport. Didn't have any luggage. They said, "Just go. We'll bring it to you later." Which I thought was kind of weird. Nobody ever called me, showed me, There was no second test, no confirmatory test. It's like, okay, you can't fight anymore ever, get the fuck out of town, pretty much.
Mm.
So I hit Tulsa. Like I said, it was about 2:30 or 3 in the morning. I can't remember exactly.
So you're by yourself this whole time, thinking that you're by yourself. Yeah. They just told you you have HIV.
What's running through your mind at that point?
Well, my whole team, which is about 7 or 8 other people, stayed there to watch the fight.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so I thought that was weird. My trainer went with me, but he got off at Atlanta, and anyway, I walked through the airport about 3 o'clock, and I had a cap on, and I walked past one of those little bars or whatever that's in the airport, and there were about 30, 40 people all gathered around the TV, and I looked up on the TV, and it was me. I was on there, so I just kind of pulled down my hat and went on. So that's how I was, excommunicated from a sport that I obviously helped make popular.
Now at that point, how do your friends, your family react? Do they alienate themselves from you? Are they scared that? At that point, it was 1996, and AIDS wasn't, even though AIDS was in the forefront. What was really known about HIV and AIDS is not the same as what's known now. Did did they alienate themselves?
People didn't even know what it was back then. You mention HIV to somebody, they're like, what are you talking about? But fortunately, I went into a Walmart store one time and came out, and somebody had put in these little bitty cards, almost like a small flyer type thing, all over everybody's window. So I reached out and got it, and started looking at it and started talking. It had a picture of a guy named Dr. Richard Wilner from Spain, and he was injecting himself with HIV positive blood. Well, on the back, Hey, guys, when we get into this here in a minute, you're going to be blown away. HIV does exist. The government created it all through propaganda. I mean, there's not one doctor on the face of this planet that can show you, me, the neighbor, Scooby-Doo, Jimmy Crackcorn, can show you a picture of what this virus looks like. Now, on the internet, they do have a couple pictures of some computer-generated picture of HIV, and it's a beautiful picture. I mean, all kinds of fluorescent colors, and but there's a process that before a disease is accepted, into the medical whatever. There's a 7-step process, they have to go through to isolate, a virus. Well, Dr. Robert Gallo, I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
Yep, I know who he is.
Have you? Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I call him the inventor, because he didn't discover shit, but he damn sure invented it. Anyhow, on, 4 or 5 different occasions, he tried to put it through, the 7-step purification isolation process. And each time, in step number 3, it just fell apart. So this is a theory that's never been proven. No one has ever seen an HIV, and the reason why is because it doesn't exist. They were taking all kinds of crap, trying to, They started out with, what was it, babe? The disease, leukemia, right? They took leukemia, mix some of that in there, a little duck shit, little pig urine, trying to get, because they can manipulate something if it's there. If it's alive, they can manipulate and get it to do pretty much what they want. But this is just like somebody spit a loogie in a petri dish. There was nothing alive in there. It's crazy.
Now, but when you're in that situation where they tell you, okay, you have HIV, do you instantaneously, as soon as you get home, go to a doctor, get another test? Did that happen right away?
Well, a couple of days later it did. I had to have a big press conference and get up there and say a bunch of bullshit that I didn't believe. It's all simply because I found that flyer on my window. Talking about, on one side of it, they got this doctor injecting himself with HIV-positive blood. And that was in Spain. Did you ever hear about anything like that over here?
Nope.
I hadn't.
Nope.
No, that's
and then, there, it would take me 3 days to tell you everything that has transpired since 1996.
But as far as when you
things,
went home,
weird things.
Did you take another test right away? Was that something that was done, and was that confirmed that it was
Yeah, a couple
HIV
days
positive
later
at
I
that
went
point?
to Tulsa. But by then, see, this is a government thing. They're killing people. They get them into their office. They give them these tests. Well, if you'll read the disclaimer on every one of them, and how many of them are there? 33 different tests. And you read the disclaimer on each one of them, and it clearly says that these tests do not pick up HIV or the presence of any active or non-active virus. It says it right there.
Wow. Well,
yeah,
I guess
it keeps getting deeper. We've been trying to get hold of Robert Gallo for the last 343 days.
and
He
no
will
response.
not return our phone call. All these tests that they're giving people, not a damn one of them is FDA approved.
Wow.
The meds that they give you, these antiviral drugs, that's what's killing people.
Have you taken any of the antiviral drugs?
Well, when I was in prison, I had a little stint in prison, and they told me, you got to take these. If you don't, you're not going on. So I took it for about 14 months while I was in the joint. And they'd tell me how great I was doing. But every time I would cough, stand up too quick, shake someone's hand too hard, sneeze, I just shit all over myself. It's like I was walking around. They're telling me how great I'm doing. People die of these toxic meds. The symptoms, if you take any one of these medications, take out the little paper in the bottle and read what the side effects of the medication is. It matches word for word for the side effects of AIDS medication.
Wow.
Tests detect up, and here's something else. All these tests they have on the market, they also detect up to 80 other contagious ailments. Lupus, diabetes, etc. Huh? Non-contagious, I'm sorry. Well, lupus is contagious, isn't it? Okay, I guess.
Well, at that point, though, when you first get diagnosed, one of the things you said in that press conference, and I know you said it was bullshit before, is that you lived a fast and reckless lifestyle that included unprotected sex with multiple partners. At that point, A, did you have a girlfriend? And B, at that point, did you have anyone come to you and say that they contracted HIV from you? Have you ever had that conversation with anyone?
No. And that, that was a concern of mine. I didn't think my phone would ever stop ringing. And I got around back then.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no, you can't pass it. It's impossible. Well, first of all, let's back up a little bit. You cannot give somebody something you don't have, and you damn sure can't give somebody something that doesn't exist. But let me get back to the point I was fixing to make about these tests. There's 80 other contagious ailments, that can cause a false positive. If you have fungus on your feet, which I don't know, I've never seen a fighter that doesn't have fungus on their feet because, you're in boxing boots all day sweating, and I've had a fungus on my feet right out of the womb. And
but at what point, though?
Inherited sinus infection. Let me finish. So you can understand this.
Go ahead.
I have fungus on my feet. What else do I have? Huh? Yeah, I had, I've had what I thought was allergies, but the doctor told me I've had, a sinus infection since birth. My dad hooked on nasal spray, and, he obviously passed it on to me. And again, let's keep in mind that, even the pharmaceutical companies write in their disclaimers, it does not detect HIV infection. And if you happen to look up what one looks like, it's a beautiful picture. It's something I'd throw on my wall if I could find a poster size. But anyhow, this is all the biggest form of bullshit you've ever seen. But we've been making some headway. People are starting, and what's amazing to me, timing is everything. I heard that when I was younger, didn't really understand it. Mm-hmm. But now I do. Back then I was talking about this stuff. Let me tell you an amazing story. Still to this day, I have no idea how this happened. But anyhow, the next day after, let's see, I went to Vegas, flew home, and the very next night, right? Mm-hmm. At about 4:30 in the morning, I couldn't sleep, so I made a pot of coffee. Now, at this particular time, I lived about 20 miles out in the country, in the middle of nowhere, had a security gate. You go through the security gate, take this little blacktop road about another half mile on up to my house. Well, it's about 4:30 in the morning. I made some coffee, made me a cup of coffee, went out, and sat in this big wicker chair that was on my front porch. And I'm sitting there just kind of, wondering what my life's going to be like now. Even though at that particular point, I still didn't believe it because of what I read, found, the little card or whatever that I found underneath my windshield wiper at the store. And I'm sitting there drinking my coffee, and I look down, and there's a brown, plain package laying on my porch. All right, I've got 5, 6 dogs. I got 2 cougars, a leopard, got 3 monkeys. I mean, nobody can even get close to that place without these animals going wild, right?
Yep.
But they did. Here's this package. Well, I pick it up, open it, and this is amazing. On the cover of this book is the exact same picture that I saw on the little card underneath my windshield, right underneath my wiper. Wow. The book was called Deadly Deception by Dr. Richard Wilner. The guy's from Spain. This book is blackballed in the United States. It's actually against the law, you know, to have it in your possession. Anyhow, I went in and I read it. And I was amazed at what I was reading. So the next day I went out and hit, I don't know, 4 or 5 different bookstores. You know, got one book called Roger's Recovery from AIDS. Got a guy that, you know, came home from Vietnam. He was just, you know, over there smoking. You know, all those dudes did truckloads of drugs. I mean, that's pretty much what that war was all about anyway. But anyway, I read that book, went out and got about, I don't know, about 6 or 8 other books regarding that subject, read them all, and they all come to the same conclusion. This is all bullshit. No one's ever seen the virus. You know, no one's ever isolated it. So this is, our government has convinced society. You know, people believe what they see on TV, and they believe what they read. That's how they manipulate and control all of society.
When's the last time you took an HIV test, and how did it come out?
I took one just the other day, day before yesterday.
Did it still come out positive?
Something else. Pardon me?
Did it still come out positive?
Yeah. Okay. Let me explain the protocol first.
Okay.
If you take the first test and you fail it, well, they give you a confirmatory test, right?
Right.
And if you fail it, then you know, they start telling you got some problem. I took the first test, and they said I failed it, but the confirmatory test I passed. So it should have been the end of it, but it wasn't. The doctor started saying, "Oh, don't worry, everything's gonna be all right. The drugs are different these days. Got a good infectious disease doctor for you at Tennessee, you know, the University of Tennessee." You know, which I knew was going to happen when I walked in there. But it should have been the end of it. Even though I passed the confirmatory test, which tells you that you're perfectly fine, he still was trying to push me to go to this infectious disease doctor who would probably at 2 or 3 days after that started to kill me. Because that's what kills anybody, is the highly toxic, you know, these antivirals that they give people.
Right. Similar to how, like,
it's the grossest, most negligent, fucked up story. You know, I'm sitting on one of the greatest stories never told. You know, anyone that does not believe me and all the thing that I'm talking about, I mean, you know, I'd like to have somebody out there listen. Call Robert Gallo, you know, the inventor of this. And I've been asking for 346 days. I said, I'll take a test in front of the world. But give me a test that picks up HIV. You know, don't give me a test that picks up lupus and, you know, if you got hemorrhoids or not, you know, I mean, you know, I don't need that. Show me a test that picks up HIV, and I'll take it in front of the world. Well they don't have a test that does.
One thing that
they do not have a test.
Kansas City Star reported that when I guess they had ran a story on you, and they interviewed you, and they said that you look superficially healthy, but that your skin is sagging, reflexes are slow, and that you had lesions on your hands. Is that inaccurate?
Well, I had no. Yeah, it's inaccurate. No, I got a few scratch marks on my arms, from an allergic reaction to medication. It was a generic type of medication, and when you read the disclaimer there, it makes you itch from like the inside out.
Wow.
So I scratched my arms up a little bit. My skin saggy. Okay, let's oh shit. Let's keep in mind that I'm 42 now, not 21. You take any 21-year-old and then, catch up to him when he's 42. Come on, man. He's going to look different. Wouldn't you agree?
Yep.
What am I supposed to, my fucking Superman? Am I supposed to...
Even Tommy Morrison ages. Even Tommy Morrison
ages, but you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. Damn, guys, I'm a lot better looking today.
Well, speaking of which, do you have a long-term girlfriend now? Is that what we hear?
Pardon me?
Long-term girlfriend? Is that what we're hearing?
No, I'm married, dude.
Oh, you're married?
Yeah.
So,
we got married.
Do you have unprotected sex?
Let me pardon me?
Do you have unprotected sex?
Unprotected sex? What? Dude, I've been having unprotected sex, since 1989 when all this, when I got into, actually it was 88, November 10th of 1988 is when I had my,
Has she ever tested positive for HIV?
No, she's never tested positive for HIV.
Wow.
Let me do.
So that should be proof of the pudding right there.
Got another story. This is amazing. We were talking to this doctor, and he had this, I don't know what kind of dog it was. It was high priced, one of them. And supposedly, actually, it's fact, his dog has HIV. Okay, now let's back up a little bit. HIV, you know what that stands for?
Human. The H is
human immune virus. Now, how could a dog get human immune virus?
Wow, that's a good question. It's
a damn good question.
I got another funny question for you.
It's a human virus. What did you say?
No, I got another question that I had read that in an interview you had said that you can teleport yourself and regrow limbs. Is that true?
Well, I've never regrown a body limb, but science has proven to have the ability, to do that. And I think, I did had a very, very strange experience one night.
What happened?
Now let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the biblical days, they built these palaces that were, they were astronomical.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Without a crane, without anything. How do you think they did it?
Who knows?
They had these stones. One stone on a pyramid would take 400 people to move. How do you think they did it? I'll tell you how they did it. They did it with, what they call telekinesis. People move things with their mind. I've always heard, been told, your mind's the strongest thing you have.
Yep.
Now, science has proven that we have the ability to regrow body limbs. But back then, we used 80% of our mind. Back before sin entered this planet, people used 100% of their mind. Can you even imagine that? Einstein, I think it was like 12%, and he's the reason we have nuclear weapons that could destroy the planet. I don't stop. I see there being some kind of nuclear thing going off at some point, but I don't believe, that it's going to be the whole planet. The Bible talks about people's eyes, consuming in their sockets. That sounds like a nuclear blast to me. But I'm not going to get into that. Even though I'm a student of the Bible, and I love reading it. I love reading spiritual books. I love, getting other people's perspective. And, I just love to educate myself spiritually,
Well, you said you had a funny story about the teleporting yourself. What is that?
No, I didn't say it was funny.
Oh, you said
I was I was supposed to meet my dad at this little seedy, it was a real seedy fucking place. I mean, it was about midnight or whatever. And I'm one of those type of people that feel things. I just feel certain things. Anyhow, I walked in, and there was only about 3 or 4 people sitting, back in a booth in the back left-hand corner. Mm-hmm. Well, as soon as I walked up, I smelled gunpowder. Like something had just happened in there, is the point I'm trying to make.
Okay.
And when I walked in, these guys were looking at me, and immediately I knew that they knew what I knew. And at that point, I lowered my head, and I started praying, because I knew I'd walked up on something. I didn't know what, didn't want to know what. Somebody had just been killed. Is the way I took it. And I started praying. When I opened my eyes, I was standing outside on the curb in front of this place. I'm like, wow. So I believe in things that most people don't have the ability to believe in. In order to believe in some of the things that I believe in, you would have had to at least research, study on. Otherwise, if something like that happens, people, say, "Oh boy, that's squeaky dink." Things happen to people all the time. They don't have any idea what just happened to them. But if you can connect to things like that, and you've read about it, you've researched it, you've talked to other people about it. It's like weapons and tools that we have available to us all around us, but nobody knows how to get to them. They can't get the toolbox of them because they've never asked God to show, to enlighten them. Right. On all the spiritual weapons that they do have. I'm really into that sort of thing. I love it. And it's all a form of preparation. If you sit together when all this happens, there's going to be people that, put it off, and, and when things start going crazy, which will happen because they're going to legalize drugs for everybody. It's the only way they can fight the cartels. Is to legalize every kind of drug. You just get it from a doctor. Doctors are going to become our drug dealers. Wow. That's what's coming. It ain't rocket science, none of this shit, but...
Well, we have a ton of people that are dying to talk to you, a ton of people on our phone lines right now. So let's take some phone calls. We have Mac from Long Island, New York. Mac, you're on the line.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Mac.
What's going on, Mac?
Hey, what's up? Hey, Tommy, I just wanted to ask you something. Well, first off, I want to go on the record and tell you about that book. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I really agree. I mean, about that book, how can the United States, who believes in freedom of speech, ban a book? I don't understand.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a scientist. Pardon me?
Well, you said it.
Well, hey, dude, I'm not denying that I said it. You asked me, how can they do that? I'm like,
well, I don't
know how they can do it.
I just want to go on the record and say Obama's a black man. I'd like to punch him in the ticker, too.
Yeah, I think there's a line of people that would love to do that, but he fits your agenda. I'm not going to sit here and talk all night about government conspiracies and I'm right in the middle of one of them. The whole HIV thing is the biggest. It's the biggest medical fraud in the last 500 years. Plain and simple.
We got Angelique from California. Angelique, you're on the line.
Hi, Tommy. How are you?
Hi, Angelique. How are you doing?
Good. I just want to say it's such an honor to talk to you. To the boxing world. I mean, what you accomplished was just amazing. You're a great fighter. I watched all your fights. And I wanted to ask you about your belt. I heard there's a guy named Ron Scala. Does he have your belts? Did you ever get your belts back?
No, I never got them back. But I'm going to. I got people that they're going to help me get them back.
He's a very shady kind of guy, don't you think?
Pardon me?
He's a very shady kind of guy. He's a liar. Yeah, I know. I've had a couple of conversations with him. Yeah, I was just wondering if you were able to get your belts back because
I haven't gotten it back yet. What he said was one of them, but didn't even look the same. He'd made a replica of my original belt. I'm probably going to sell it on the internet and all that, but this guy. I had a grand opening of a boxing gym here it was in Wichita, where I just recently moved from about 4 months ago. He shows up. He's one of them ball hugger kind of people, Have my belts laying out on the table for people to see. Gives me some bullshit card called Champ Belts. He says, I'm going to refurbish your belts. He said, he's not going to charge you a dime. So I'm like, all right. So I gave him my belts. It was the dumbest thing I ever did in my life. Yeah, I take them back. I don't know how many weeks went by. About 2 months went by. And, I called him up and said, listen, I don't know, how long it's supposed to take to refurbish a belt, but there wasn't really much wrong with them. He's like, I'm not sending them back to you until I took an HIV test, proving that I didn't have it, or that I did have it. And I've been dealing with this asshole for, I don't know, 6, 7 months now. And he will not, hasn't, I got to file a police report in Kansas, and then also go to Pittsburgh, which is where this asshole lives, and file a police report there before I get anything done.
Wow, that's
crazy.
Incredible. Yeah, that is fucking absolutely crazy. We got Mikey from Florida on the line. Mikey, you're on the line.
Hey, what's going on, Tommy? How you doing?
What's going on, Mikey?
Not much, man. Not much. You getting back into the... Well, actually, I got another question. Before I ask a question,
Mikey, if you're on
can you give my
speakerphone,
ex-girlfriend age for me?
Mikey, are you on speakerphone?
Yeah, I'm on a Bluetooth.
All right, can you pick up the regular phone? I can barely hear you.
Oh, okay. 1 second. Hello?
We can hear you, Mikey. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike.
Mikey, go ahead, Mikey. All right, Mikey, we're going to put you back on hold for a second. We're going to go to Bob in New Jersey. Bob in New Jersey, you're on the line.
Hey, Tommy, what's up, brother?
What's going on, man? Just trying to get it together.
I'm from Jersey, right? There's a lot of AIDS around here. You were saying that maybe the aliens could help you with that HIV telekinetically somehow. Is that possible?
I didn't say anything about aliens.
Yeah, you said that telekinetically they moved all the pyramids around and stuff like that.
No, I'm saying that somebody did. I didn't
Well, it
say
wasn't us
aliens.
then, was it?
Very well could have been.
It wasn't humans, was it?
I think, are you going to let me speak? I think humans have the ability to do that. I mean, if you can regrow body limbs, you can damn sure move a rock.
All right, well, then they should be able to help you with HIV. They could telekinetically remove it, right?
Well,
you think?
Remove what? It
Like
doesn't
germs,
exist, my
disease?
friend.
Maybe your dick?
Well, maybe cancer or something like that that's for real. But I don't know. I don't know too many aliens. Do you? And if you do, I'd love to have their number.
I agree. We got Buddy from Florida is on the line.
Hey, what's up, Sam?
How you doing, brother?
All right, dude. Hey, I was a big fan of yours back in the day. Love Rocky. I remember watching your fight with my family against Foreman.
I'm
and
going to be back in the ring. I'm going to be back in the ring before too long.
That would be great, dude. I forget the guy's name. The Russian dude, you busted up his ribs pretty bad, had to stop the fight and shit. I forget his name, but my question was, do you think you could have took Tyson? Because I think you could have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was, I had to play catch up to a lot of these guys. They had international competition, Olympic, I came from a tough men's circuit, which is why, I stayed so active, fighting every 2 weeks there for about a year and a half, 2 years, honing my skills. Absolutely. The night that
you think they were,
that he fought Peter, let me finish. Hang on. The night that it pisses me off when people ask me a question and won't let me answer it. I can't even remember what I was talking about now. The Tyson thing. Yeah, I mean, when he fought Peter McNeely, it was supposed to be me. I would have kicked his ass without a doubt. It would have been a big fight. Been huge, and yeah, I definitely believe I would have beat him.
Awesome. We got Jane from Houston, Texas on the line. Jane, you're on with us.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. Hi, Tommy.
Hi, how you doing, darling?
Good. You've had quite an impressive career. What I wanted to know is if you could teleport yourself back in time, what would you do differently? Do you have any regrets?
After, I don't know, what has it been, 96? After 15 years, yeah. I mean, I don't know anybody that, would do something, for 32 years of their life and they wouldn't look back and, and realize that, yeah, I've done a lot of things different. I would have not had so many. I would have not had so many people around me.
Mm-hmm.
You get these ball hugger people, the entourage. People are all there trying to get a crumb fall off the table.
Mhm.
But at that time, I didn't really care about any of that stuff because I had my own stuff to worry about. I had to stay focused. And, what was going on around me, I really didn't pay that much attention to.
Now, Tommy, I got a real quick Rocky V question. Do you still have the Tommy gun jacket, the blue and white jacket? Do you still have that?
You know what? It's somewhere in my storage. I haven't seen it in years. But, yeah, I believe I do still have that jacket.
All right, we got Mikey back from Florida. Mikey, maybe we can hear you this time.
Thanks for letting me come back.
Oh, much better.
I was just wondering, Tommy, I have a real bitch ex-girlfriend. If I give you her address, can you give her AIDS for me? I can't stand her. Her mom, give her mom AIDS for me.
You know, that was...
Her mom called my probation officer.
You know, that was a really fucked up thing you just said. First of all, I don't have AIDS, dude. You need to educate yourself before you call in on programs like this, or otherwise you sound like a fucking idiot.
Oh, I agree. You really kind of did sound like an asshole. Chris from
What
Hawaii.
kind of question is that?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Chris from Hawaii put a good question on.
Aloha, Chris.
Hey, how's it going, Tommy?
I'm doing all right, man. Hey, what's going on, country boy?
Not much, bro. Just wondering, man, you gonna be in Fight Night Champion 2 for EA Sports?
Yeah, I'm supposed to be. I already went out and did, they're doing, like, behind-the-scenes type stuff. And I already went out and did my filming and all that. Yeah, I'll be in there.
On with Rocky and in the prison, a little stay in prison. It's pretty cool, bro. So, do you have any plans on fighting soon, or what?
As a matter of fact, fighting. Yeah, I do. But at this particular juncture, I really don't want to say where it's going to be because then I have to deal with Lukanov and them running up there, doing the same thing they always did, right?
Right.
So, but yeah, probably, I would say the end of October, early November.
Hey, so what do you think about that bullshit about Hay running his mouth for 2 years, wanting to fight Klitschko, and when he got in there, he ain't do shit?
Well, I mean, that's how you promote yourself. I never was impressed with David Hay. I think he's basically a puffed up cruiserweight. Klitschko, I would love to fight that guy. I got the combination. Anybody that's ever went out there and came at him and fought him has knocked him out. You go out there, and first of all, you're scared, so you run off the bat. Running, and he's gonna, the long jab, and he's gonna dissect you, and sooner or later he's gonna get you if you fight his fight. But if you don't fight his fight, you go out and you get in his ass, like Ross Purity and Corey Sanders. Those big guys aren't used to being forced into a fight in the first or second round. They gotta go out there and move around 5-6 rounds before they find the range. But it's hard to find range when you're on someone's chest, breaking their ribs. And that's exactly what I don't think Klitschko would go 2 rounds with me.
I agree. Tommy Morrison, my favorite boxer of all time. We got, hold on, there's a bunch of calls here for you. Tony from South Dakota. Tony, you're on the line.
Hey, Duke, what's going on?
What's going on, brother? You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. You know what, though?
All right.
I had a really bad sore throat once, so I can really sympathize on the whole AIDS thing.
The whole AIDS thing? Let me explain
I had a really bad sore throat.
Who
would win the fight, though?
AIDS.
You? Who would win the fight with you, AIDS or Magic Johnson?
Well, let me give you a little info on that. Magic Johnson was somebody that the establishment pharmaceutical company paid him $60 million to say he had it and to promote their antiviral drugs. I think they were planning on coming to me for that also, but I was one of those guys that was completely opposite end of the spectrum. So that's
you think
what's going on
they paid Magic Johnson $60 million to say that he had HIV?
Absolutely. Paid him $60 million. He quit basketball. Opened, I don't know, 10 or 12 movie theaters all over. What do you think he got that money? He got it from them. They paid him $60 million to promote their agenda. Now, there's a lot of things that, the layman person, meaning the guy on the street, they have no concept or no education.
Do you think that Magic Johnson actually has HIV or AIDS?
No.
Or they just paid him
$60
$60 million?
He doesn't have HIV. He doesn't have HIV. The guy's healthy as he's ever been. But this country is, it was founded on religious principles, but maintained by deceit. I mean, nobody tells the truth, especially our government.
Mm-hmm. Well, we got a couple of people that are dying to talk to you before we let you go. We got Darren from upstate New York. Darren, you're on the line.
Hey, Tommy, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing good.
Hey, I just want to throw it out there. I'm a boxing writer. I've been doing writing for a while now, and I've been covering the whole Morrison saga for some time. And I want to verify what Tommy's saying here. Yeah, absolutely. I've been trying to contact Dr. Gallo and his staff myself for several months now, and it's impossible to get two simple answers. Can I have the HIV virus test, and can I see a photograph or some proof of the actual virus? And I've got no response either, so Tommy's on point with that.
Really? I would love to do an interview with you if you don't mind.
Absolutely, Tommy.
Yahoo.
But I went down to Montreal when the Duke was supposed to fight Eric Barak back in February. I went down there. I met with you briefly, Tommy. I went down to watch you knock out Barak. And as we all know, it didn't happen. They shut you down. But I want to put it out there, and I've said this before. I'm afraid to get in the ring with Tommy Morrison, but it's not for fear of catching HIV. It's for fear of that left hook.
Yeah. Well,
because
again,
Tommy Morrison looked like he could knock out a mule.
Well, and again, you can't give somebody something that doesn't exist, guys. People always sell right over that, even though you tell them HIV does not exist. Just like those horses with wings don't exist. Well, it depends on how much drugs you've taken, but but anyway.
We got two more callers for you real quick, so I know we're on limited time here.
Okay.
We got to wrap things up, and they've been waiting forever.
Hey,
Sorry about everyone else.
Who was the guy I was just speaking to?
We
if
actually
he's
have him
still
on hold.
listening, I want to tell him. I want to say something to him. I'd like to do an interview with you, and you can get a hold of us at Tommy the Duke Morrison at yahoo.com if you're still listening. Because
we'll
I
pass
think
it along to him as well.
Okay.
We have him on hold to pass him along. All right, two more questions. We have Jennifer from Chicago. Jennifer from Chicago, you were on. Oh, hold on 1 second. There we go. Jennifer from Chicago, you're on the line. Jennifer?
Mr. Morrison?
Yes, ma'am. How you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Can you tell us any famous actors or actresses that you banged? And are you still sporting a mullet?
No, I'm not sporting a mullet, and I would prefer to keep that under my hat, thanks. Good question, though.
Yeah, this is a good question. You're not going to give any dirt? Anyone famous that you banged in your day?
No, shit, no. I'm not going to talk about that sort of thing.
Okay, well, we got one more.
Radio,
well, tell me afterwards. I'm dying to know. We got Shawnee. Shawnee from Boston. He's a regular caller. He's got a speech impediment, so bear with him.
Yeah, just be patient.
Yeah. Shawnee, you're on the line.
Tommy, I know that the TV show My Two Dads was based on your relationship with your two dads, Jim in Vans. How did it make you feel that they put a girl in the role as you? I mean, I would find that pretty insulting.
Okay.
Well, I don't. I have absolutely zero information about what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're even talking about there, brother. It sounds like you need to chill out and quit drinking battery acid or something.
And we got one more, Steve from New York. Steve, you're on the line.
Hey, Tommy, huge fan of yours. I was just wondering, I'm a little concerned because I had a sore throat the other day.
This guy's just copying the other guy. Jesus Christ.
You had what?
On that note, he was just copying another caller that was on before. So that was
okay.
What a bogus question.
So,
Tommy the Duke Morrison.
Yeah, Tommy the Duke Morrison. Where can people reach you for more information about everything we talked about tonight?
Tommy the Duke Morrison at yahoo.com.
Okay, you on Facebook or Twitter or anything?
Am I on Facebook or Twitter? I'm on Facebook, but I don't get on there a lot. I mean, but my wife does, so, you know.
Your wife who does not have AIDS.
Or HIV. No, she doesn't have AIDS. She doesn't have anything.
Exactly.
You know, AIDS, let me explain something one more time. HIV and AIDS are two completely, well, one doesn't exist at all. Now, AIDS is, that's a for real deal. I mean, that's like depleted blood. People that, their blood's so fucked up that, it's depleted, basically. But HIV does not exist. And you cannot give, let me finish, and you cannot give somebody something that doesn't exist, or even if it did exist. I tested this day before yesterday. You cannot give somebody something that you don't have. And people that put HIV and AIDS in the same category obviously are people that believe what they read. I mean, AIDS is a syndrome. It's for real. HIV is something that was created through the media and through the TV. Plain and simple, in the story, and it pisses me off when people come at me with that shit.
Yep, I understand why.
All right.
But Tommy Morrison,
we thank you for the
thank
time.
you so much. I really appreciate the interview tonight.
Absolutely.
Anyone who wants to get a hold of you, Tommy the Duke Morrison at yahoo.com.
You also search on him for Facebook. His wife goes on there, so I'm sure if you send him a message on there, I'm sure it'll get to him.
Yep. And thank you so much, Tommy, for coming on the show tonight.
All right, keep in touch, my friend, all right?
I enjoyed talking to everybody except two people that were morons. But hey, what are you going to do?
Right, exactly.
So, all right, thanks again, Tommy. We'll take care.
Keep in touch, buddy.
Take care. You guys have a good evening. God bless.
You too.
Tommy the Duke Morrison. Wow.
Definitely has a unique perspective on the whole HIV/AIDS thing. I'm saying.
I'm just blown away. I don't know what to say. I mean, he just claimed that Magic Johnson got paid $60 million to basically
to say he had AIDS.
Say he had HIV, I think it was.
Oh, HIV. Yeah. Excuse me.
Wow. Blown away.
Wow.
Well.